guys, welcome to Brian's Garage. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I've had a request to remove the factory radio from a Gen 1 CRV, that guy out there, right? And replace it with a touchscreen radio that has a backup camera. If it was me, I'd probably just stick with the original radio. It's a real quality piece, but you know, you do it. People ask, and here we go. So far, so good. You know, I just got this and took it out of the box. Came with this little mat. I'd recommend doing all your work on that. Keep it from getting scratched up. I took out the factory controls, HVAC controls, which were held in with these 4 screws. And we're getting ready to put them in these little bosses down here. But before we do that, to keep from breaking these things, because they get real tight if it's dry, I'm going to put just a little drop of oil on the threads and then run them down with my screwdriver before I install this thing, all right? Just to get them all tapped, excuse me, and make sure they're pretty. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've got all those holes tapped. The oil did help a lot. Didn't break any. None of the sides split out. That's all good. And I was going to put in the HVAC controls, and then I realized that we probably want to transfer the clips from here, those guys, over to these mounts on the new piece. Now, the way you're going to do that is you're going to use a screwdriver, tiny screwdriver, to get in here and release. There's like a little catch on the inside. It's that piece right in the middle. You got to release that and just pop them off. And here, take a look at this one here. See those, you see that little barb that sticks in there right down there, that guy? That's what's keeping it on there. So you got to lift that up and it'll come right off. So I'm going to go ahead and pop all those off and transfer them over, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got all these little clips transferred over. They didn't fit great. You know, see there's like a plastic tab that sticks up on either side. It didn't want to fit down between there very well. I should mention that the little ones are symmetrical, so you can put them on either way. And then you got these bigger ones down here. There's 2 of these. And they are not symmetrical. There's a flat side, and there's a side that kind of sticks out like that. So you want the side that sticks out facing that way. And again, this one didn't want to go down all the way either. I don't know if that's going to cause any problems. I'm sure we'll figure it out when we go to mount it in the dash. Probably I should have test fitted before I put those clips on, but I didn't, so oh well. Now we're going to put the HVAC controls on. Well, much to my surprise, the HVAC controls fit in there pretty well. It's got a good gap all around. Everything fits flush. No problems there. And because I'd already tapped those holes using the oil, all the screws went in, no problem. Right? So, guess now I'll figure out which wires go where. Okay, now the stereo kit came with 2 main power connectors, radio or speaker wire connectors. You got this one, and then you got this blue one. If your connector is blue, you'll want to use the blue one, and if it's gray, you see how that fit right in there, it's perfect. You'll want to use this gray adapter. I think 96, 97, 98 we'll use this gray one, and 99 to 2001 we'll use this blue one here, and that should take care of most everything. And here's your antenna wire that will plug in the back. Obviously we'll have to figure out how to run the backup camera wires, and I suppose I'll probably go down along the rocker panel, but we'll see how it goes. All right, I've got the main adapter plugged in, no problem there. That's just going to be left open. That's if you had an antenna to hook up to this, but we don't, so we're going to hook up directly into this. One thing I want to show you is this is your, I believe this is your backup camera cable, and it'll plug in right there. in that spot. And you see those two little wires? Those are your antennas for your Bluetooth and I think your Wi-Fi. So even if you're not going to use the backup camera, you want to have this thing plugged in. You know, I think it can just be dangling. I would probably, you know, if you're not going to use this, I'd put something around this metal part so it doesn't actually ground out on something. Could cause some noise if you got a errant ground. But yeah, make sure you use that just because it's got those two little antennas on there. Okay, I got these plugged in. Here's the, I believe the backup camera wire. And then got a whole slew of these things, which I'm not using, but there is, I believe there's maybe something in here I might need. I don't know. Oh, the microphone goes into that one right there. So if you're using the mic, you will have to plug in this mess of RCA cables. One thing I want to point out is the locking tab goes on top, and make sure you get this locking tab engaged, because you see how I can't pull it out? You can put it on there and it feels like it's engaged, but I was able to just pull it right back out. So make sure that you get push this down right here and get it over the little tab on the side there, because it'll trick you and you'll think you got it in there, and then all of a sudden your radio will just quit working. So make sure you get that in there correctly. All right, for the backup camera power, the trigger that makes the screen go to the backup camera, display the backup camera, you need to hook this wire up to the wire that's going from your taillights all the way up, and as soon as you hit reverse, it will activate your taillights, energize your taillights, and that energy will come up to this little spot right here. I'm probably going to put like a bullet connector on here, probably male on this side and female on the other side. I like the female to be the one that's carrying the power. That way it's not likely to ground out if something comes loose, right? So I'll probably put a male bullet and then a female on this side. What was I going to say? Yeah, all this stuff, the only thing I'm going to be using is the microphone. It's kind of sad because I wish I could just leave that thing out because it's a mess. Oh, one thing I didn't see on here is normally there's something that goes to the handbrake that won't allow the screen to come on unless your handbrake's engaged. You just ground that out in typical fashion, but I don't even see it in this harness anywhere. It's not anywhere, so apparently that's not part of the game on this radio, so we won't have to worry about that. The last two wires that this thing comes with is a USB cable. There's one with 4-pin, and here's one with 6-pin. Suppose this one here's like a high speed. I don't know. Don't really know. I'm not going to hook them up because we can charge off a different place, and these are just not very convenient. I'm just going to leave them out, not connect those, and we will connect the Carplay wirelessly with, I think the Bluetooth is how that works. Okay, at this point I've taken some of this, I guess this is probably 1/2 inch or 3/8 heat shrink, stuff I had laying around, and I went over the bare metal spots of all the RCA connectors. Like I said, I only need this guy. And I've put on the female bullet on the wire that goes back to this, and a male bullet on the pink wire. Now this wire is tiny, man. I don't know what it is. It's probably less than 22 gauge. So I ended up stripping it back about 1/2 inch, twisting it up, and then doubling it over on itself twice before I crimp these on with a crimper, right? So that's all done. Again, I've got the microphone and the GPS antenna. I've just got this on here loose. I don't know how all that's going to play out. We're just going to have to go fit it in dash to see what looks best for its location. All right, this radio came with this little camera. I think this is an AHD, analog high definition 1080 maybe, 1080p. I don't know, we'll see. The resolution on this is supposed to be like 1260 by 720, which is pretty decent. And AHD is a good style of camera. It's very clear, and the images are sharp. So we'll see how all this works when we get it together. You never know when you're buying this this import stuff. I bought this separately. This is just a bracket, and I think this is going to fit on here. I don't know. We'll try it out and see how it goes. Well, it mounted on there. I just left the bracket that was on it with those two screws and moved it over to this license plate bracket. But yeah, it worked on there. It only goes up so high, and then these screws in the back, whoop, there you go. They hit right there, so you can only go up so far, but I think you're gonna want to angle down a little bit anyway, so. Okay, what's next? Okay, I've got it in here just loosely, right? Don't have the clips all popped in. Connected the antenna and the blue cable only. Everything else is just dangling back there. But I thought I'd check it out, make sure everything was working right before I put it in there permanently with clips. So let's go ahead and turn it on. So here it's coming up. Takes a while. Well, not too bad, I guess. That's fairly quick. I don't know, 5 seconds or something like that. And the antenna doesn't pick up great. It's not a real strong reception. But you get all kinds. All right, well, I just connected my phone and went through the, sent a text message. I told Siri what to write, and it wrote it, and I told it to sent it, and the person got it. Then I asked it to call someone, and they answered, and the microphone right here, well, that works just fine, guys. So I'm not even going to bother hooking up the external microphone. The one on the face here seems to work pretty well. She said it was quite clear, and I could hear her very well. Everything was working nice. So I guess all we got left to do is route the... oh, I still got to figure out where to put the GPS thing, if we'd really want to run that. The only reason we'd really want to run that is if we weren't using our iPhone navigation, and I've already tried that out, and the iPhone navigation works fine. So I really don't need the... GPS antenna for anything that I can think of. So I'll probably just take it off and just hook up this this camera, and once I get all that done, or in the midst of that, I'll give you some tips. But that's what we got to do next. Okay, I went ahead and pulled it out before I final mount it, and the reason why is because the microphone works so well, we're not going to need this guy right here. And because the only reason why we had this mess of RCA cables was because it had the microphone lead in it. And since we don't need that lead anymore, because the microphone on the face works pretty well, I'm just taking this whole mess of wires out of here, and it's gone. So got rid of that. And then the this little bitty guy, this one here, this pink one, I didn't want it to be pulled on, so I connected the RCA for the backup cable, and then I put this heat shrink over the top to keep all that together, keep it from accidentally coming loose, and then I zip tied it to the GPS. Now, it's like, well, the GPS probably ain't gonna work, and I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna work. Don't need it. I'm just putting it back here, so if we ever want to use it, it's there. I went ahead and tightened this up. This is all fairly durable, and so I zip tied it to the GPS roll of cable. And now, if you pull on, you know, this cable here, it's not putting any strain on these tiny little wires here, and nothing's going to come loose. It's all basically taking the load through this GPS, which is I've tightened, and so that's going to take the strain relief off that. I think she's all ready to go back in. Just a quick view of the connecting wires. These go to your HVAC. This is the one that matches that connector that came in the kit, and there's your radio antenna. And you can see I've routed the wire. I left it a little bit long so I can lay it out here and pull all this stuff apart later. You can see I zip tied it back here. I want to route it underneath the carpet and then along the rocker panel all the way back. Butyl rubber both sides, zip tied, and then this red has to tie in right here. There's a, you might be able to see it, connection right back in there. See it? Then I got a ground right here that I had to use. I soldered on this and shrink wrapped it. I want a little slack in that, so if you have to replace your camera, you get a little slack to play with. I used some 1/4 inch convoluted loom, and I drilled this hole and this hole, and then I sealed it using some butyl rubber for the windshield on like old Chevys and Fords. And then I had to tie it into the reverse lights, and you'll need to pull all this out. All this stuff's got to come out. You got to take your speaker off right there. And then all this is just clipped on right here, and that gives you enough room to get in there to this area right here. You see how I split the loom, and you can see there's a 3M T-tap right there, and that is on the green wire with the black stripe. That's your backup light, so just tap into that, and you can see that my convoluted tubing comes out right there. That goes up to the T-tap, and then the other one goes all the way back up to the camera. And I just routed it around here, then along the rocker panels all the way. So wasn't fun. The camera was kind of a pain. Let's go see how it works. I just wanted to mention that you know, when I drilled this hole, you know, I came in straight underneath that, and this one here had to come in at just above there, because there's a brace in there. You can't see it, but you want to go above that brace. And then when you route it, don't route this cable on the outside. It won't fold up correctly when you close the door. It has to go over the top like that, and then when you close the door, it all folds in nicely. It's all folding in nice. See that? All good. Works pretty well. That's kind of what it looks like from the back. So, okay, it's hooked up to Apple Carplay. Let's hit the reverse and see if that comes up. All right, there's your trigger, and sure enough, it is activate. It has activated the camera. Everything looks like it's working nice. Flips right back over to Apple CarPlay, so all good. That's it for Brian's Garage. Hope some of this might have helped you out, and we will talk to you later.